Today, I am excited to share with you the ultimate secret to six-pack abs, and that is made in the kitchen. Yes, you heard me correctly. You can't just be doing all these side crunch abs and whatever else you see on your Explore page on Instagram. It is made in the kitchen. If your nutrition is not in alignment with your goals, if it's not set to you, if you don't even know what a macro is and you're not eating towards them, then you're probably not achieving your goals at a desired rate that you want. So today I'll be showing you 3 tasty, easy recipes that you can do that fit most macros based on how you weigh it, which is why we're gonna be talking about scales and macros and calories. Because the thing is, a lot of different people think that just eating towards a certain calorie count is enough and they don't see results. Why? Because those calories aren't broken up into the appropriate macros per the person. We're not all gonna eat the exact same thing. So my measurements might not be yours. So you need to do your own research, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to figure that out for yourself today and show you these 3 amazing recipes. So stay tuned. All right. First off, let's talk about some staples that you probably need in the kitchen before we get started. So a great cutting board could be plastic, wood like this, super fancy, not really.
It was a Christmas gift.
Okay, a food scale, and we will talk more about this, but you can find them on Amazon, you know, 20 bucks or less, depending on how fancy, but you want it to be able to have grams, ounces, different ways to weigh your meat, because for the most part, it's going to be like, hey, 4 ounces of this, or sometimes you'll have, if you use a Coach or something, or you look it up, it's like, you know, 100 grams of this. So make sure that it has multifunctions on there. This one charges by a USB cable too, which is really nice. You don't need to put batteries in it, you just charge it up like everything else. A lemon squeezer. You can do limes and lemons in this, but this has been a game changer. Not necessary, but again, I absolutely love it, especially for one of the recipes we're doing today. And then you need some kind of containers for your meal prep. And obviously all your other cooking stuff too, but have containers that you can put away. I got the Pyrex, like non-breakable kind. I'm not gonna smash it on the floor to see if it works, but Sam's Club was having a badass sale for like $23 for, how much was it? 28 pieces. That's awesome. So for the little sauces I make, maybe this is like a breakfast, oatmeal, yogurt, or something, and this is like the main meal. Okay, so a variety of sizes. These are the bare minimum. So have containers, have your cooking utensils, and don't forget to get a scale.
Let's talk about the part that confuses most people, and that's calories and macros. So calories are your total amount of energy you're consuming, and your macros are what those calories are made of, which is your protein, carbs, and fats. If you want to lose fat, gain muscle, or perform better, you have to understand what your plate actually adds up to. So here's how you can keep it simple, and that's protein is 4 calories per gram. It builds and repairs your muscles. Super important. A lot of people underconsume it. Carbs are 4 calories per gram. They fuel your workouts and they give you energy. And your fats are 9 calories per gram. Supports hormones, brain function, and recovery. So you might be thinking that seems like a lot of information. So this is where a food scale does come in, and you log your meals for 2 to 4 weeks until you're a little bit more intuitive. But you have to keep in mind that using a food scale and calculating things is not an obsession. It's just being aware. So most people fall into 2 categories, and that's they are under eating protein or overeating fats, carbs. And the other side is just completely guessing. And we want to take the guesswork out of it, because the real discipline in building that is knowing and not guessing. So a super basic macro split to start with, if you don't know where to begin, is going to be 40% protein, 35% carbs, and 25% fats. And you can adjust this depending on your goals as you get used to this, but just track for 2 to 4 weeks. And the awareness alone will change how you eat, because you're going to be more aware of what you're putting on your plate and how much that really is. So now that we've broken this down, we are going to get into a different app to actually show you how to calculate your calories and your macro split. So let's get right into that. Calculating our daily calorie intake. And there's a ton of calculators online, so make sure to use a few of them to kind of gauge the numbers that they give you and get an estimate. But this one I've used, and it's been very successful with clients and myself. So you can check that out right up here, calories.info/calorie intake calculator. So what you're going to do is you're going to fill out these 4 steps and make sure on the height and weight that you change to pounds and feet, inches, if that applies to you, or kilograms, centimeters. And then the last thing you're to do is how active are you? And don't be afraid to put lightly or moderate if you're just starting out, because you want it to be accurate. And I'm putting active for myself. Very active is like a super extreme. So I always put active just to be safe. Once you fill that all out, you're going to calculate, and it's going to bring us to our maintenance calorie goal. So this means if I eat between 1939 and 2139 calories a day, I'll maintain my weight. So with that information, I know if I want to lose weight, I probably need to be more in the 1800s. So you're going to basically subtract 100 to 200 calories off of it if you're going to lose weight. And if you would like to put on weight, you're going to add 100 to 200 calories. So personally right now, I'm at about 22 to 2300 calories because I want to build muscle. So depending on your goals, just remember that. And also, just this is where you can stop, because if you do any of this stuff below, it's going to ask you to pay to see a program. So unless you want to pay to see a program, which is totally up to you, that's what all this is. So I'm just trying to help you save some time. So next, we're going to go over to MyFitnessPal. And there is a paid version, but even with the free version, you'll have some other options. So if you go to your home, okay, you can set all these things up. What you're going to do is go to goals. And this is where you get to figure things out. So if I say my calories are 2200 to build muscle, and I already know my carbs are going to be at 35, fats 25, and protein is 40. Now that's the basic split, and this is typically what I go with. And we'll do a different video, so drop in the comments if you want a separate video on carb cycling, but that's a whole different topic if you want to switch between carbs and fats being 35 to 25%. So this is your basic that we talked about earlier, and it also double checks for you to make sure you don't go over 100%. So what you're going to do is you're going to save these changes. Okay, cool. And the next thing you're going to do is go to the tab that says food. And this is where you're going to track to 2 to 4 weeks. So as you can see at the bottom, to familiarize yourself, you're going to see your totals that you've already eaten, what you track it. Your daily goal is what we had just put in, which is 2200, and it actually splits those grams up per the carb, fat, and the protein. It's going to show you sodium and sugar as well. So just be cognizant of that. You can do all these other things, but once you start adding food, you're going to see something happen. So I'm just going to put some random things in here to start. But let's say I had 3 hard-boiled eggs, and it's on here because I tend to eat hard-boiled eggs all the time. So we're going to add that. And what it does is it breaks it down for you. I don't know why I added it twice, but there we go. And it's going to give you the dates too. So then you can also save recipes and do all these other things. But right now, we are going to stick to this. So basically what's going to happen is once you start adding food, it's going to start calculating your totals that you've already added. And it's going to give you this awesome pie chart at the bottom that helps you to see your percentages. You can know, okay, I'm already at 61% fat of my daily goal. I'm at 37% and 2%. And we know that we want this to be 25%, right? So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep adding food, right? So if I put, and you can literally do so many different things like chicken breast, and it gets very specific. So when you search different things, you can actually look up, okay, is it grilled and skinless? Was there skin on it? So let's just say I ate this, and usually I'll go per the ounce, and I do like 4 or 5 ounces. But you can change these things up, and if there's a green check, that means it's verified. And again, we can go into really big detail here. So what we're going to do is just kind of give you an overview of how this works, so that you can see where everything sits. So now protein's at 54, 45, and obviously I haven't logged a full day, but I can see like with just those 2 things added, I'm already at 440 calories today, and here's the complete breakdown. Again, this is your goals, and this is what you have left. So if you're ever hungry and you're like, oh my gosh, I still have like, however much protein, that's when you start picking strategic snacks throughout the day. And you can add them here. And let's say you want to prepare for a birthday party, and you know there's going to be pizza, right? Let's even go, you can scan food too, but let's go as far to say it's Mark's. Well, that's Members Mark, but okay, regardless, let's just say it is a pizza from Sam's Club. That's what we ordered. And let's say we want to be able to work in 2 slices on a weekend or something. Now you can build around this. Like, hey, Saturday I want this. And don't do this all the time. I always say allow yourself the good tasty foods that you want, but you can truly calculate. It shows you the sodium that's in it based on the actual brand. Like I said, you can go really deep into detail, and this is a margarita pizza, but regardless, if I wanted to have those 2 pieces of pizza, now I know, wow, with just those 2 in my breakfast and lunch, I'm already at 1,100 calories. So how can I plan healthy foods around that will meet my goal without going over? Okay, and again, use this pie chart. But this is just a brief overview. So please drop in the comments if you would like to see an actual carb cycling or a full meal plan breakdown specific to different goals.
Okay, so first we're gonna make sure that we have some, I would say evenly sliced, but just, kind of cut these up into little fillets. And mind you, I am not Gordon Ramsay, so if there's going to be any of that kind of hate going on, like just know that I don't do this professionally, okay? But I survived this far and can eat healthy, so not bad advice, right? So what you're going to do first is you are going to drizzle with a little bit of olive oil. And if you have a little brush, that was like a lot. But you're just gonna be kind of getting a little bit of oil all over, and I have plenty that I've just put everywhere. So we're gonna kind of use this. Make sure your hands are clean too before you do that, right? Okay. I'm gonna briefly wash my hands. Next, we are going to generously season with whatever we got. Like I said, I like to use the grill your ass off seasonings for everything I cook, but whatever you got, if it's just lemon, pepper, or just garlic, however you like to do it, so you can season as much as you like. This stuff just tastes amazing, so I'm gonna make sure I cover it. And this is super easy, because now I'm gonna pop it into my air fryer bin, and I'm gonna cook it. There is like a seafood setting, but I'll probably put it in for about 12 minutes, check to see what it looks like. While that is cooking, we're going to make the sauce. The first thing we're gonna do is cut 1 avocado. Oh, look at that. It's a little bit brown, but that's all right. Okay, we are going to put that into a little bowl. We are going to mash it. I prefer using like a little fork, right? And if you want more of this sauce, like you could just like double it or kind of add it to the consistency that you like. That was super easy because it was like, that avocado was like done, ready to be eaten. Do around 6 tablespoons of Greek yogurt. So I'm not really measuring it. I'm kind of just using a regular spoon, right? And I'll do the 3 first, kind of mix it up, see what it looks like. And you can use a food processor too. And if you don't know, plain Greek yogurt, this is not vanilla, nothing like that. This is plain Greek yogurt. Tastes just like sour cream. So if you're making healthy fish tacos or something where you like sour cream on it, typically, Greek yogurt is a fantastic, healthy, protein-rich substitute for that. Okay, I'm gonna add like 1 more. I forgot to wipe my spoon, so now there's avocado in the yogurt. Oh well. Okay, that looks pretty good for me. So you can go up to 6 depending on how much sauce you want. Okay, and what I'm going to do next is get this full lime. And again, you might want to taste test it, but I like lime, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the juice of that. It makes it so much easier than just like whatever, Okay, cool. Got the lime in there. We're gonna keep mixing her up. Oh, that just went everywhere. Again, not a professional chef. Hey, that looks pretty good. And this is why you might need to add a little bit more Greek yogurt if it's starting to get a little watery with that. Again, up to you in the consistency. If you got a garlic masher, that'll be great, because now you're gonna wanna add 2 garlic cloves, right? And it's really good to get them minced. You can get pre-minced stuff, right? But who doesn't like fresh garlic? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get these all minced up and put in there. I'm making a giant mess, and that's okay. Because guess what? I'm showing you how easy this can be and how quick it can be. And mind you, if you get really bored and you're like, oh, it's gonna take so long, like put on a podcast, put on some music, dance around, have a good time. If you don't like chunks or anything, which there shouldn't be chunks, but if you have an avocado that's not quite ready, or maybe the garlic, you chop the garlic by hand, throw it into a blender or a Ninja or a food processor just to kind of get it through. And then at this point, You're just gonna add a little salt and pepper to taste, right? And you can add some red pepper flakes or something to make it a little spicier if you're into that. Cool, mix her up. Now let's give it a little taste test to see what it's missing. And that tastes amazing. Definitely set it aside. Don't pack it with your meals the same day until you're ready to eat it. So the salmon is done, and now we're ready to pack it for our lunch or dinner or whatever it is. So I got my handy dandy scale ready. Make sure it is zeroed out. There is like a 0 button, okay? And I always put it in pound with a colon ounces. So I like to measure by the ounces. So I'm gonna roughly do around 4, 4.5. Right now we're at 3.4. I'll add another piece right here. That brings me to 4.5, okay? So perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and put that aside. Too bad you can't smell it through the camera because it smells really good. You're probably thinking, well, what the heck, where's the rest of the meal? So you can add some vegetables to this, your carbs as well. But my biggest takeaway here is that you're going to want to plan all of your meals around your protein. Since we typically lack protein and need more in our diet, that keeps flipping over and it's bothering me. We want to plan our protein first, and then we'll put the carbs around it. So I'll put some rice in there, but I want to make sure I get my protein handled first, then I'll add fats and carbs. So build every meal around protein first. Some other practical advice as you're going into meal planning and prepping, and it seems super overwhelming, and it can be. Nutrition is usually one of the hardest parts. If getting to the gym or doing the workout isn't the hard part, usually it is nutrition. So to make this a little less overwhelming, try to plan for 3 days so that food stays fresh and not for the entire week. So depending on your schedule, some do need to plan for a full week if you have a very crazy job or something that involves you prepping ahead of time, and that's okay. Keep the first 3 days fresh in your fridge, and the rest, keep it in the freezer until you're ready to take it out and defrost it for your meals after. So it's totally fine to do it that way. But if you need to break it up and meal prep 2 times a week, like Wednesdays and Sundays, totally fine. You just need to have a plan, put it on your calendar, put it into existence. And the other thing is, food doesn't need to be boring. Add healthy sauces to it. But condiments are where people get lost. They start adding the ketchups and the sugary sauce, the Chick-fil-A sauce, the honeys and all that stuff without measuring or anything like that. So like just I made that sauce for the salmon. I'll make sure to measure out like maybe 1.5 tablespoons per salmon and not just drowning it in that, because those are calories too, and you need to calculate for that. Next up, we have a high protein turkey breakfast scramble. Okay, so of course with scramble, we're gonna have like about 6 eggs or so. It could be egg whites as well. I'm going to be using the full eggs. I couldn't find egg whites at the store. We're kind of in a weird place right now in life, but I have some turkey. We're only gonna need about like 12 ounces of this. This is like a 20-ounce pack. I always go for 97% fat-free. There are different options. You're gonna see a combination of peppers here that I will chop up, 2 garlic cloves that I will mince, and for seasoning, I am using Cannibal from Grill Your Ass Off, which is an all-purpose seasoning, and it's absolutely amazing. So you can also add like onions and some other like just salt and pepper, garlic. It doesn't need to be anything crazy like this, but let's get into it.
I have the turkey. I've already cut up the peppers and onions. That is entirely up to you if you want to add that, and I love it, but we're gonna start with the eggs. Oh, and I already messed it up. Awesome. That's okay. I'm probably gonna do about 4 eggs, so I'm putting them in a separate bowl right now. And you can see that. And I'm just gonna do 4. Again, you can go up to 6. I'm only gonna be using, you know, I'll probably use all the turkey and then go lower on the eggs. That way I know I'm getting that extra protein. And again, it is all up to what your macros are. All right, so next up, remember those 2 garlics? I minced them and put them in a pan. I'm now gonna grab a little bit of olive oil and spray that pan with it. And then next we're going to be seasoning the turkey, and I'm gonna use that Cannibal all-purpose seasoning from Grill Your Ass Off. I'm gonna make sure I get it all over there, and I'm gonna mash it with my hands and season a little bit more, but I'm gonna let this saute and we'll get to the next part.
So our scramble is complete. It smells amazing. Your seasonings matter. Trust me, it can taste good, but they're not all created equal. But I'm gonna go ahead and separate these into 3 separate dishes. If you used, 12 ounces of turkey and like 6 eggs, this will typically make around 4 different helpings. But remember to pay attention to the MyFitnessPal portion of this video so that you know how to plan your meals and measure them out according to you. And since I have extra onions and peppers, and I had 2 zucchinis in the fridge, I'm gonna peel and cut those up, put it in the air fryer for about 10 to 15 minutes, and that's gonna be a side for the rest of my meals this week as well. The biggest thing is that vegetables, number one, are carbs, so you don't just have to think about potatoes and rice all the time, although you will supplement with that, especially on a heavy lift day like a leg day or heavy running. But keep that in mind. And also, air fryers are amazing. If you do not have one, I highly suggest it. It takes a lot of time out of it. So anyone with the excuse of no time, get yourself an air fryer. It is absolutely a game changer. Last but not least, we have an amazing and easy snack. It is the protein oat ball. And this will make about 6 to 8 balls. And the star of the show is gonna be Misery and Mayhem protein oats. So these actually pack in a package 20 grams of protein. What's not to love about that? Plus it's like super dope. And if you ever order it, I'm telling you, it comes with the coolest packaging, badass stickers, and a bunch of different flavors. But we are using the original for this, okay? We also be using honey. This is a flax, chia, and hemp seed mix. This is optional. I like to have extra flax where I can. Some natural peanut butter, dark chocolate, no sugar added chips. This is the Bake Believe version. You can get that at most Walmart's HEBs. And then optional, of course, is also going to be some unsweetened coconut flakes. You can make these in a million different ways, but we're gonna make a very basic batch of this, so let's get right into it. The first step is obviously grab a dish, but we are going to do all of the dry ingredients. So we are putting in the Misery and Mayhem, or whatever oatmeal you have. I just happen to be a huge fan of extra protein, which is why I make these protein balls. And when I discovered that they existed, I was like, holy crap, where have you been my whole life? So you don't have to add a protein scoop. It's already kind of mixed in here. And really great ingredients, gluten-free, non-GMO, all that good stuff with Misery Mayhem. So we got that. We're gonna add a tablespoon of flaxseed or chia seed. Mine's a mixture of all. So again, super optional, but why not? And then it's around a tablespoon of chocolate chips, but we're adding another one just for good luck. You know what I mean? Okay, so we're gonna, mix this up. You mix it as good as you can. Kind of hard to mess this part up. It's all the dry stuff. Okay, now it's gonna be on to the wet ingredients. So we are going to be stirring in about 1.5 tablespoons of peanut butter. So that's about 1. And we're gonna guesstimate around 1/2. Probably a better way of doing this, but I'm just gonna make this really difficult for myself. All right, and then we are also going to be mixing in the honey, which is going to be 1 tablespoon as well. Let me take this out. So why we do everything. Like I said, this just looks messy. I'm not a professional chef. I just know it works, and it might not be the prettiest recipe you'll ever see. That's beautiful though. Let's talk about that. I absolutely love honey. If you guys haven't tried honey on your chicken, so good. Just remember to track it like we talked about. Track everything. We're gonna now mix all of this together. I also have a whisk just in case. Oh wow, look at that. All that protein I just dumped out. Okay, we are gonna do this a little differently. So the thing is, if it's a little too dry, which this 100% is, we are going to supplement with water or like an almond milk. And I have Silk, like the coconut milk. So I'm gonna go ahead and put, 1 tablespoon to start of this. And we'll kind of just go from there if it stays a little too dry. And again, you can use water or regular almond milk. And that will be good. I'm gonna go ahead and add another. We don't want it to be too unsticky, so we're not trying to, mess this up by any means by making it too liquidy, and now we don't have the perfect protein ball shape. So it looks like I probably just need a tiny bit more. but not a full tablespoon. So it's roughly 2.5 tablespoons of milk, but this is actually a pretty good consistency. So I'm just gonna add a dash more. Make sure it's really well combined so that you get the amount of protein per ball that you're looking to have. That's gonna be the last little dab I put in there. And again, if you have regular protein or if you use this kind, this will make roughly 6 to 8. Okay, this is awesome. So you can either ball it up, mash it with your hands, whatever you want to do. I'm going to use a little cookie scoop and see how many it makes that way. I have a cookie sheet with just a little bit of parchment paper on there, and I'm just going to scoop these out. And you can do it in your hands or whatever, you know, trying to get fancy with it, whatever. But I'm just kind of plopping them on here. And as you can see, this is what it looks like on the tray. And what you're going to do after you've gotten them all transferred is you're going to put it in the fridge for roughly 20 to 30 minutes and just store in an airtight container up to 5 days, which 6 to 8 protein balls, you know, you're gonna go through them, but your serving size will be roughly 2 to 3 of these. But again, track everything that you do and eat. Like I said, super easy, super quick and delicious. I made about 8 of them. So that's what they kind of look like. I'm gonna pop it in the fridge, but just know that all together with the peanut butter, chia seeds, all those things added together, you're looking at around 28 to 30 grams of protein in the batch. So you're looking at about 5 grams per the ball of protein. So 2 of them is 10 grams. So if you're a little short on protein, popping one of these in, it doesn't mean you need to eat a steak or a chicken. Sometimes it's something as simple as this. And these protein balls sell for like $11 to $18 at major stores like Walmart, Sam's Club, or even online stores. This right here costs you less than that. Costs you less than $10 to make, because you probably have some oatmeal lying around, whether it's a packet or a whole bunch. Chocolate chips, I mean, and it will last you for multiple batches. So it's not only saving you money, but it was super easy to make. The point of this video was definitely not to give you some magic plan, just 3 different options of very many that will help fuel your performance, and to understand that discipline in and outside of the gym and just life in general is taken 1 meal at a time, 1 rep at a time, just 1 step at a time. Think about snacks being supportive, not sabotage. That's why I prep small, easy snacks like those protein balls, because I'm going to reach for something I actually like and not for junk. So I prep the things I know I enjoy eating. You can alternate your proteins throughout the week to add some variety there, and make sure to always build your meals around your protein first. And don't forget to track. If you've never done it before, just do it for 2 or max of 4 weeks to